Secrets of Grindea. Well, that name's a little on the nose, isn't it? But to no surprise, this game is all about grinding. In a good way, though. Gameplay is 2D, sort of Legend of Zelda style action RPG, or, well, more accurately, like Secret of Mana, which I guess you could probably guess from the title alone. Except it is a lot more geared towards people that, just want to sit back, relax, and grind out a whole lot of sick loot. What does that actually mean? It'll make more sense when I get into the game. So first off, we got story mode and arcade mode here. Arcade mode is sort of a roguelite, endless style from what I understand. Haven't really touched it too much myself. And it doesn't really matter for the time being, because I'm definitely going to be doing story mode. Get a little nice structure into my grinding here. And single player because I am lonely and have nobody else to play with. Alright, create a character. What do we got? Very Death Road to Canada style, just got random characters here. I'm not going to try to create the perfect character, just random up somebody. Do something better than that. You know what? Give me the Twin Tails. Yeah, I like that. Let's go. Have a nice, fancy Well, it was going to be Fancy Danielle, but I guess we're going to go with Fancy Danny due to character limits here. And I would probably go for hard mode. I have largely played through the game. If you know what the Power Flower is, that's the point in time when I stop and decide to kind of start up the series finally here. But I think just for the sake of, not making it so it's impossible to do commentary over this, let's just go normal mode. Oh yes, this game takes off a lot. This game takes a lot of cues from like old school PlayStation RPGs, so be ready for a lot of very wacky, specific character portraits. A lot of them follow a sort of template, but they are all unique and they have their own unique name, much like you would. I mean, I said Secret of Mana, but I guess it's more like Legend of Mana at this point. Very like old school 90s PlayStation style. Comboed with, let's just say like Ragnarok Online, I would say, as far as like a stepping off point for a lot of other inspiration that the game is taking. Which will make a lot more sense too when I get to cards being introduced. Alright, thanks Captain Harlock, Dad, you huge weirdo. So yeah, it's, the entire thing with like this game being called Secrets of Grindea, it starts out and kind of eventually moves on to a lot more, involved and interesting story. But at the very beginning of the game here, it almost just like revels in how generic and kind of like generic fantasy it is, I suppose I would say. All right, great. I mean, we'd skip the cutscene. I literally just started the game. We don't really have too much time for me to figure this out. And no multiplayer, which is fine. Alright, yeah, we're going for, like, Legend of Zelda quest number 1, getting your sword and shield. And let me tell you, so, when I was talking about, like, this game being built around grinding, this game is built around grinding. Look at all this gear, and you can even set up stuff for, like, style, things that just exist so that, to look good, fashion souls, if you will. You got tons and tons of items here to be collecting this entire time. Like, the combat system is ludicrously involved because you're going to be leveling up all the time and getting new skills. And you can constantly change up what your build is to make something else for a really nominal, like, fee of gold. You get side quests all over the place, different types of enemies to find, trophies to get. Are there pets in the game? Absolutely. Is there a fishing minigame? Oh yeah. Can you buy your own house and then decorate that? Absolutely. That is the sort of game that you're looking at right now. If you have ever played an MMO and you said, hey, you know what I would really like? Just the ability to kind of sit down and kill enemies to get sick loot over and over. It's like this game is built 100% for that sort of gameplay. I actually really enjoy it because this is the type of gameplay that I genuinely really like. Now, I'm not going to say that it's... All right then, Jonathan. But yeah, I'm not going to say that it's just like this sort of game is for everybody. But if you're ever just sitting thinking that it's like, hey, I really like the Legend of Zelda, just sit down and go do the fishing minigame for like an hour. This game is very much like geared towards that sort of thing. Every single one of the animations are all really smooth and nice looking. picking up stuff is really good too. Enemies spawn almost immediately after killing them, and do have like special drops and everything to get. It's like I gotta say, it's like there's a lot of stuff to this game, and from what I understand, at least as far as I can tell, I think that the way this game is coming out is sort of piecemeal, almost episodic, so that like every couple months there's like a new big area that is introduced. Of course, what I'm going to do right now is try to basically be going around, collecting everything, doing every one of the side quests. Oh no, I'm not going with the two-handed weapon. I am taking the shield, because the shield, of course, being that this game has so much crazy different things related to like different builds and everything you can make, there's good tech with that, where you can do parries, where you can have blocking, energy specifically for that. Yeah, to say that I've been enjoying this game quite a bit is... I mean, I'm not even actually all that far into it, but there is a surprising amount of stuff to do here for a game that, to be honest, didn't really even know about until I had it suggested to me in one of the comment sections. Alright, so like I said, game starts out extremely generic. It is, like, this entire area is called, you know, you're in the Pillar Mountains. This entire area is called Startington. You're going to your collector's examination so you can collect stuff. And alright, yeah, we also got a bag. And that is fair, because ultimately I think I'm going to be kind of cut from the same cloth here. Ha-cha-cha, bag humor. Game is pretty forgiving as far as dying goes, though. You get... yeah. I don't really trust that bag as far as I can throw it. And I can throw it pretty far, so... well. Alright, so we got like a little bit of tutorializing up here. You got this thing straight out of Legend of Zelda that can... you know, one of those switches that you saw a lot all the way back in... what, was... Link to the Past, I think? Had that? But yeah, one of the things that's really nice about this game is that it has like these really nice animations for everything. So you get like health bars, you get like information on everything, and then I think if I just like wait around here a couple seconds, you'll see that enemies spawn almost immediately. It is built for grinding. Grindea indeed. Huh. Usually gets up pretty quickly. I don't know, maybe it's because it's the starting area. But another thing that I definitely noticed almost immediately is that... oh yeah, there's your first wand if you want to go for more of a magic-y type build. But I'm going to go for melee for right now, and then probably switch into that later on. Definitely going to be exploring each one of the builds, because there's a lot of them to do. I mean, here, I can just... hey, look at that. These little rabbies, which you can clearly tell are supposed to be like the mascot character of the game. Alright, there we go. And as per usual, definitely going to be leveling up everything immediately. Alright. What do we got here? I mean, I guess, like, what I've kind of been using as far as magic goes is that the straight fireball is actually pretty good. You just mash on this thing to try to... you know, shoot out fireballs. It's as simple as that. But I'm going to go for something a little bit different. So, I don't know. High damage, long range, targeted? Sure. Why not? Then throw that onto my quick bar as C. Yeah, that works. This is very much like how I was playing Environmental... cool. Very much like how I was playing Environmental Station Alpha, where I really got to remember that I have to have all 4 of my keys on the keyboard at all points in time. Gonna be useful. Seems like overkill, and also seems kind of surprising to get that as one of the first things in the game, but hey, it's got good spread, so I'm not gonna argue here. Alright, let me just quick change up back from doing a magic build. I'm gonna go with straight sword and board for right now. Kind of have that going, and then switch that up eventually here. I really got to get those critical hits if I want real damage here. Not that, you know, rabbies are going to be giving me too much of anything for loot. can clearly see here you got the fishing minigame, which I can't quite do yet, but will be coming up soon enough. As long as you have the timing down, I think that works out just fine. Parry mechanic. Which I totally screwed up immediately. Come on. Oh my god, this is embarrassing. Alright, one more. Just hold out the shield then. There. Yeah, if you hit stuff at the right time, it's... You don't, it doesn't take as much energy to block an attack, and, you know... Do it again. There we go. That's how you do it. That's the proper thing there. I was, maybe not doing it correctly at the very start here. Yeah, one of the builds that I was going with originally was pretty much Fireball, just regular sword and shield. Might have even been going two-hand? I don't really remember. And then all into critical. And let me tell you, that's actually a pretty effective build, at least for the start of the game here. Alright, fine then, whatever. I don't even care all that much anyway. But you can just kind of... It's not entirely necessary to be fighting every single one of these enemies here. I mean, it's... We're going to, you know, fulfill my dream of becoming the Pirate King or whatever, so I gotta go get down to the town here anyway. There will be time for off-screen grinding, let me tell you. As much as I do enjoy grinding... Yeah. These portraits get kind of goofy sometimes. Well, anyway, like I was saying, yeah, as much as I like grinding, I'm gonna understand that not a whole lot of people are gonna be tremendously interested in seeing that sort of thing. So it'll be mostly off-screen that I'm doing the real grinding here, and then it'll be mostly me trying to make progress in the game otherwise on camera. Well, yeah, duh. Alright, first boss. Huh. Good old tutorial boss here. Stupid gag, still effective. And here we got the actual boss. I mean, still, I would kind of hesitate to call it a boss, but, yeah, you know, it's a good tutorial type of thing here. As long as I don't screw this up, it should be easy. Like I said, regardless, it's not too bad to actually... if you die, you don't get set back too far. Alright, let's go. So why can't I get a weapon like that? Can I get the sick parry here? Apparently not. Alright, whatever. I don't necessarily need to do parries right now anyway. Alright. But I'm gonna try it anyway, never mind. Yeah, she gets a pretty big, time that you can actually... Hey, nice. She gets a pretty big stun time here after trying to do the dash attack, so, not too difficult. Despite the fact that I completely missed using my shield every single time against her. Alright, guys, you can stop cheering in the background there. References. Can't be helped. Yeah, it is very much a commitment to the sort of old school type of PlayStation era RPGs. I mean, I'd like to say that this entire game was kind of a... Legend of Mana, a game that I haven't really played myself, but I have seen quite a bit of, seems to share a lot with this, where in the PlayStation era, if you weren't really around for that, or if you didn't really play too many RPGs at that time, it was an interesting time in video games where you were suddenly given a ton more space with which to work in games. And pretty much a lot of developers saw that as like they needed to fill the space with something. So there were a lot of, well, grinding-based games kind of introduced. Whether you had like a million different characters to recruit into a party, like a Suikoden or a... Oh boy, I probably want to watch out for that because I am not doing great on health right now. You know what, let's just go. But like, yeah, like a Suikoden or a Chrono Cross, or like a bunch of different side quests, you know, like a million different side quests that were introduced every single second in a game. So it was just all ways to sort of fill out a CD's space worth of stuff. And while I would say that not a whole lot of that was very good, at the same time, it definitely made like a lot of it made an impression on somebody that, you know, enjoyed doing like a lot of grinding or minor side questy type stuff. Which then inspired this sort of game, which saw the, you know, interesting ways of kind of filling space and decided to actually try to make that into a real game. You know, take the admirable attempts at creating... Yeah, sure, let's just level this up a couple times. Oh, and I also got talent orbs? Sure, let's do that. Take the maybe like a valiant attempts to try to fill space and then make that into a real game mechanic that's actually interesting as opposed to... Ooh, sure. Yeah, let's go this twice. Since I'm trying to use the shield a little bit more right now. I don't know, it's definitely interesting how there's a lot of old games that the faults and just ways to kind of like capitalize on a new type of media are now turned into inspire more modern games in that way. I don't know. Hey, look at Rival McRival here. Even got his own theme song. Like I said, the game revels in being generic, at least at the very start here. Like a lot of sort of episodic games, it gets more... Over time, it gets a lot more like well thought out and Von Grindians, really. Yeah, over time, it gets a lot more like well fleshed out. Like I said, Startington Kids, Evergrind City. And then here we got a secondary party member. Not an actual party member. It's more like a... I don't know if you ever watched my old playthrough of Brain Lord. It's a sort of like story-wise, these guys are... Nice hair. Story-wise, these guys are your party members, but you don't actually like party up with them. In fact, this game has probably a lot more comparisons to Brain Lord than I'm sure even the developers of this game would. Ooh. Yeah, first off, give me that. No, I'm not going to take the two-hand, but that's at least a good upgrade. It's not like I have too much else to do right now. Mr. Plot. That's what we're looking at right now. Scenic Lot. Yeah. Alright, so this is pretty much just a, extended way of doing a big tutorial. That sound effect was a lot louder than I thought it was going to be. What a bar to clear. I'll try that again. Oh boy, if there's one thing that I'm not going to show on screen, it is definitely going to be the fishing minigame. And I've said before that I've never really been a huge fan of minigames and other stuff, but... There we go. And it's the tiniest thing possible. But hey, 6,400 points. Which is 5,000 away from being nice, but hey, you can't win them all. Really. But yeah, I've never been like a huge fan of like minigames and other games, but these ones are fleshed out enough that I feel like I can make an exception here. Bunch of different like fish to collect with their own like entries, and then you can sell them and make food and all that sort of stuff. Not a whole lot to say, eh, Morgan? It's because it's a standard thing in video games. Really? I caught like the smallest fish possible and your score is still terrible? Yeah, I'm pretty good at that. I mean, I just finished Baba Is You, and let me tell you, this is not really going to... It is basic Sokoban puzzles, by the way. So, hey, that prepared me for that. About as much as you possibly can. Rune block, rune tile. There is, thankfully, a way to just undo stuff here at the same time. Now, this game, it's kind of crazy. It hits every single one of the bases here. And actually just want to push you over here. Then get that over here like this. Not the most complicated, but hey, technically I'm under a time limit, which doesn't actually exist, so... Nah, it's cool. And one more push over here. And then we got the classic strength puzzle over to the left. The one that I point out every single time I see it because it is such a standard in every single one of these types of games. In some ways, I kind of love it. In other ways, it's like, come on, does this have to appear in every single game? Here we go. I don't think it's a competition in that way. Whatever. If anything, I feel bad for this guy because he has to so clearly fulfill the tropes that are set out before him. He is trapped. Well, at least I get to be a silent main protagonist. So yeah, I think this pretty much explains Luke's personality pretty well. Mm-hmm. You? Nope. Pretty much as expected. And one more. Yeah, well, thankfully I didn't have to sharpen the sword. They had one right here. Let's go. Why does it default to not yet? What else am I going to do in this area? Yeah, what sort of ferocious beasts do you think are going to be unleashed in this area? Let's go. Probably have enough power here to just one-shot every single one of these dudes. Again, how long did it take for how long does it take for your standard Final Fantasy character to learn Meteor? And I get it right off the bat here. Phew. That is pretty satisfying, I'll say. Rabbies. And yeah, one of the things that I was really thinking about this game was that at a basic level, it reminds me a lot of Ragnarok Online. With, oh man, I got hit there? Whatever, that's fine. Let's actually collect some of this stuff because I'm pretty sure I get to keep it all. It reminds me a lot of Ragnarok Online with the basic style of... And one more. Bam, let's go. With his basic style of like the pixel art and everything, and also it's just like a lot of animation given to every single one of these enemies. Doesn't quite have like the same sort of pouring style, but at the same time, as somebody that might have had a surprisingly high-level sniper back in the day, there is, of course, that little level of nostalgia involved in the game too. How did I miss with a meteor like that? There we go. I gotta turn down these sound effects a little bit. Anyway, yeah, that's predictable. Let's go. And the first, what I would call proper boss in the game. Which is very much, kind of what you would expect, I guess. They get a little bit more creative from this point, but, again, The game at the very start very much revels in its genericness. Oh, how'd that hit? I call shenanigans. Should probably stop, like, trying to smack this guy with the fireballs and actually focus on just, you know, doing damage. But then again, the fireballs are cool. And there's that hit. I can't believe I actually died to that. Anyway, after every single one of the bosses, if you actually die, you get some hints from the bag, but that shouldn't have been necessary. Yeah. This is not the most complicated of games. You have to watch out on the third hit. I think he likes to use his hammer attack, which does like 70 health right now, so definitely going to want to watch out for that one. How much damage do I do comparatively? Probably significantly more if I stop trying to hit him with the fire. With the, there we go. With the thing here, but it does take out all the small slimes pretty well. So, also I got that whole thing where I was using... There we go, and now, like, stuff is gonna cost less. My magic and everything. Should actually kind of remember the various skills that I'm taking right now, shouldn't I? Yeah, gotta watch out for that. That hammer does a lot of health. Okay, well. Was one embarrassing defeat, but, hey, it's dealt with. I got so many other drops. Was that not good enough? Why is the collector's test based around luck, anyway? And this is the other reason why it reminded me so much of Ragnarok Online. Because you get cards. And the cards are the rarest thing from every single one that you can get from every single one of the enemies in the game. And they give you a special permanent buff each time you find one. Thereby really, really hammering home the whole grinding part. That loading screen looked really weird there, how it just phased back. Hey, is that Alice Murgatroyd? Anyway. Yeah, you can't avoid getting that card at any point in time. It's part of the story, and the ability it gives you is the ability to pick up stuff from a farther distance away, which is, I would say, absolutely essential. Wow, really? Oh boy. Alright, and this is going to be the crux of the game. Getting assignments as a collector to go around and do stuff. More of an actual plot line develops over time, but for right now, it's pretty basic, pretty simple. You get the idea of the game. Alright, next time. Like the actual game, where it starts to actually pop off.